So we're starting with our first keynote today, and for that we are welcoming Ekaterina. Let's hope she's in our call. Is she? Drum rolls, please.
Hello from my side. I
Hi,
hope you can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear, but sadly enough, we cannot see you yet. You have this beautiful Teams logo, though. There you are.
Hi.
Hello. Very nice to meet you.
Likewise. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Super excited for the event, especially after the introduction you gave. So looking forward.
Ekaterina, can you please introduce yourself? Who are you, where are you from, and what you do at Accenture, if I'm correct?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. I'm Ekaterina, and I'm from Bulgaria, Sofia, Bulgaria. I currently work for Accenture, and I work for the company as a technology consulting manager. So I'm working in the field of data and AI. In the Accenture Microsoft Business Group, especially dealing in the area and the field of the resources industry. I'm specializing. I'm an MVP for AI. I'm specializing in data, in artificial intelligence. When it comes also to open data, to data philanthropy, this is the topic where I'm actually aiming in completing my PhD in. So this is me in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I think your session is going to be more what kind of skills that we need. So we're looking forward to your session. So the platform is yours.
Thank you very much. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Just tell me if you can see it.
Yeah, that's a go. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. So hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about the skills beyond developing and beyond programming in the area of artificial intelligence. But I cannot start with AI itself without starting with data. As you know, we are currently living and we're currently working and talking and having this event in an era of data, era where we are surrounded by devices, we are surrounded by environment full of data, constantly enriching by data, by innovations, by the different devices that we're placing around ourselves and that we're buying and using. And when we're talking about data, we're often just transferring to the term big data. And then we freely use big data and AI, like this is the new big thing. This is the thing where everybody should be looking at. This is the thing where everybody should be developing their skills at. But when we think of actually what is data, like the pure data, the data points that we're observing, this could be the weather temperature outside, this could be the humidity, this could be our age, like all of these could be very different data points. And when we're describing a term like big data, when we step out of this terminology only for data, we're already talking a big amount of data. We're talking about the volume. We're talking about value. So is this data that we're considering, is this data that we are understanding as big data valuable for us? Or is it just a bunch of data points that we randomly collect around ourselves? Then we're talking about the pace of this data. We're talking about the different sources where this data is coming. And this is a huge topic. Like, is this data that we're collecting, is it trustworthy? Is the source that it's coming from actually reliable? Are we talking about the trustworthiness in this data with regards to what we're trying to solve? So when it goes to data, when it goes to big data, we're talking about different aspects of this data. So qualifying, quantifying, and really talking about the value behind the data, which is very important because the next step after the data is the intelligence. So what happens after we collect this data? What happens after we look around and identify the data points? what happens after we determine what's big data for us, for our company, for our university, for our community. Then what we need to do and what we strive to do, every one of us who is working with data, is to transform this data into intelligence and into information. And once we do that, once we connect those data points, once we manage to get to this state of having this information, we'll be able to tell that we or our organization is data-driven, that we're becoming adaptive, that we want to be using the latest technology, we're agile, we are innovative. Like, this gives us the opportunity to come from simple data point to mapping those data points into information, and then getting to a state of wisdom, getting to a state where we can actually use this information, we can actually use this data to make more decisions, to be more adaptive, to be more agile. And overall, when we get to this point, we're saying, okay, but there's something more. Like, this is not only the era of data, this is not only the era of information, but this is the era of artificial intelligence. And this is where it gets loud. Everybody's talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about the future of artificial intelligence, the past of the artificial intelligence, and the current state of the artificial intelligence. But have you ever thought how many of the people talking about artificial intelligence actually know what that is? Have you thought of all the articles where artificial intelligence is written down, or the news where we hear about artificial intelligence, or those debates where it's talking about the ethics of artificial intelligence and everything? We're often getting back to the root of what exactly is artificial intelligence. And if you think about the two words separately, what is artificial? Just ask this question to yourself. So if you look around, can you point at something that's artificial? Probably you can point at the laptop, or probably you can point at your phone or your curtains. This is artificial, right? This is very easy to spot. Now, try to describe the second part, intelligence. So can you define intelligence now? And I'm sure you can, but it won't be like pointing at something around you, like, this is intelligence. So then when you combine those two, when you combine artificial intelligence, then you get to the root cause of what, and the root of artificial intelligence, which is the human intelligence, the human actions, the human thoughts, the human emotions that lay and that serve as a base for artificial intelligence. So this is the human intelligence and actions invested in enough machine memory, in enough speed to process. Like, all of these artificial components that help our intelligence and that help our actions, our thoughts, our mathematics to happen fast, to further develop, or to use the latest technology available. This is artificial intelligence, and it keeps raising questions, a lot of questions in our world. So what do we do with that? Like, what do we do with this AI? What do we do with these robots? What do we do with these advanced algorithms, with this machine learning, with this computer vision, with these enhancements that we're seeing everywhere? Are we just talking about it? Is it really happening? Is AI going to take my job? Are we talking about the ethics behind AI? Who understands AI? Or can I study AI? Can I teach AI? Can I join a lecture and understand what's AI and then start working it somewhere or somehow? Is AI within my house? Is AI going to be in my life within 5 years? So these are a lot of questions, valid questions that everybody asks themselves in a different manner, right? You can ask it within your business. You can ask it within your family, within your house. And to know how to answer those questions, some people start reading articles, some just disregard it and accept that AI is only robots. Others try to educate themselves, find the learning program. And there are people who want to, from their younger years, they want to start building skills into the area and really get deeper into AI. Thus leading us to today's session, skills in AI and skills in AI beyond developing. So if I say that there is a specific set of skills in AI, I would say that I'm right. So I think that the skills in artificial intelligence are programming, mathematics, machine learning, statistics, and natural language processing, deep learning, computer vision. I could really bravely say that these are the skills that are necessary for a person to be AI worker or to be oriented towards AI or to be successful in the AI area. And then I would go to examples. I would go to humanoid robots, right? This is AI. This is involving the mathematics. This is involving the algorithms that I was mentioning. So we can say that this is AI, and the skills that we were just mentioning, they're enough there. But then in the same time, next to this robot, I will say that the self-driving car is also AI. And now when I think about that, and when I think about the essence of those two, I'll be asking myself, are the skills that I just mentioned, these 5 core skills, enough to say that we built those 2 very separate AI examples? And I'll be probably wrong, right? Because to build a car, yes, to build the algorithm within the car, yes, we need this machine learning, we need the program, we need the mathematics, but also we need knowledge about cars, right? We need to understand how would that car work. And there is this ethical dilemma that could be found online about the behavior of the car. So what happens if the car crosses the street and there are pedestrians who are crossing, but like 2 sides, older people and then younger people, and then the car should make a decision. This is the algorithm, but this is also the essence of the car. This is the road. This is the way we are living. This is the community and our place in it. Then I'll go to the human robot. My knowledge about cars could probably help if the robot is driving the car, but probably I'll need some understanding and another skill, probably psychology, probably understanding how the mimics of the face could make this robot be more human-like. I'll be needing those skills to develop different aspects of AI. I'll be needing the rest as well. So now I think it's fair to say that the skills for AI have broadened, right? Now we have, again, the mathematics, statistics, of course, the computer vision, everything, but also cars and psychology. Now, if we think of the different artificial intelligence examples, we might add some additional skills there. And we might get to a point where we're talking about skills that we underestimate as necessary for AI. But if we go back to the definition of what's AI, this is our human intelligence and this is our human actions invested in the computing power. And if we say that we're only investing in programming and analytical skills and mathematics and statistics, yes, this is right. Yes, we'll be able to do to create an algorithm, but all the different skills that we possess will help us enrich this and actually create a different example to be successful in a different way. Because sometimes, for example, the skill of drawing might help me create an AI in the area of drawing that would be extremely powerful and extremely helpful. But I will need this understanding. I will need to understand this skill to have this skill. And this goes further. Like, we can be talking about different examples. We can be talking about different applications within this is why we have AI within our houses. This is why we have it in chessmate, for example, in chess. This is why we have it in the cars. This is why we have it in all the different areas you can imagine. So we're talking here about a variety of skills, and those skills can be thousands. In its core, AI is about thinking, and AI is about understanding. the main skills that we need are these: thinking and understanding, and then thinking out of the box, thinking out of being a programmer, of being an AI person, thinking out of being a machine learning engineer, being an AI and working in AI. In my experience, I've been a programmer. I've been working with machine learning. I've been working as sales, technology and solution sales for data and AI. I've been working as consulting manager, as strategist, like all the different areas. I've been also teaching this and now working from a community perspective. All these different aspects show you a different perspective of artificial intelligence. Now, think of the way you actually build an artificial intelligence. Think of the part where you're actually developing. Find yourself here. So the development, the programming, the machine learning I'll use in this example will be in the modeling part. But the path towards an algorithm contains many more steps than just the machine learning itself, just the coding itself. First, you need to understand, to have the business understanding, to set your hypothesis. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? What do you think will happen? Like, what are the hypotheses that you're building before you get to this algorithm, before you get to this model that you're building? In the model, you're using data, but how do you decide which data? Is it enough if somebody just gives you the data and asks you for a result? Is this the true value and the most value that you could bring if you can only program this? This is the second step, understanding the data that you're having, thinking out of the box. Do I need additional data? Do I need to think of additional sources? Is the data that I'm having valuable? Is it trustworthy? Could this help me? Then the data preparation part, of course. And then the modeling, evaluation, and deployment. Usually, people that are more technical within AI, they care about only the middle, about the preparation of the data and the modeling. But the true value of AI unveils when we are discovering and when we are going through all these 6 steps. Now, I'm not saying going in a waterfall process. This is the CRISP-DM model, and this is showing like all the different arrows that you can see. These are all the different loops. So this is one process that goes on. Sometimes when you're at your last part, evaluating your model, you may need to go back to the business understanding. You may need to see that the hypothesis that you've built is wrong, and you may need to redo that. Or you may think that there is additional data that's needed. So in the first part, between the business understanding and the data understanding, you first need to see, okay, I want to predict something, but I don't have the data, or I have more data, so I can predict many more things. This is the first interaction that we're seeing. Then the second one is between the data preparation and the modeling. And this is the pure technical part where, of course, I'm talking about the very important skills of knowing how to actually model the algorithm, knowing about mathematics, about statistics. This is the essential knowledge for that. But also understanding what's data and how powerful is that data. Then going through evaluation, and this is the point where you evaluate what you've done, whether what you've done actually answers the main question that you've asked or that your business have asked you. And then deployment, and this is a cycle. And this is a cycle that will enable you further to come up with data-driven decision-making. And this is not only a phrase, this can define your sales, this can define the marketing, this can define your way forward as a company. We're talking here about the ethics, we're talking about the value of what you're building and the value of what you're creating with your algorithm. We're talking about applied artificial intelligence and automation. So building those, what you're creating, and then after this point, you'll be going back because it's a cycle. AI is not something specific that you just achieve with one code or with one model. It's a concept, and it's a way of perception and a way of thinking. and with everything that you're doing across these steps. For example, for the business understanding part, you may need additional skills, you may need additional knowledge, or you may need to ask somebody who has it. I'm not saying that an AI person should know it all or should be able to draw and sing and talk and drive a car, for example. I'm just saying that you should be open, you should be thinking of how to embrace this step and continue further. Now, only at this point, you can identify the skills that you need. If you're looking at certifications for AI, there are amazing certifications for AI that will teach you a lot of stuff, both technical and business-wise. But there is a basis, and there is general knowledge about data, there's general knowledge about the world, about the community, about what you're doing. That's essential. So your intelligence, your actions, your way of thinking is essential for what you're building afterwards. Otherwise, we can all relate to Joey, who, if you remember in France, has identified that when one of these skills that's essential for his career as an actor is drinking a gallon of milk within 60 seconds. So thank you very much. This was all for me. I'm open for questions, comments from your side.
Myself before talking to you. Thank you very much, Ekaterina, for this very insightful session keynote. We already had one interesting question from Alex from Germany, who was wondering what is the most difficult part to achieve, business understanding, data understanding, or modeling, because he thinks some AI projects did not understand the business where to start. What is your thought about that?
Yeah, depends on the different projects in general, and depends who you're asking. If you don't have a person who has overlooked all of the 6 steps within this model, then they'll have difficulties in the different areas. The business understanding part is, in my opinion, the most important one when it comes to, because this is your starting point. This is the moment when you define what you want to build. This is the moment where you're setting your questions. And if you're answering the wrong questions, if you're building a model that's answering the wrong case and it's serving the wrong business case, then your results will be wrong. Then your modeling will be wrong. Then you'll be evaluating something that it might be the perfect code and it might be the perfect data, like all the technical work might be amazing, and I'm sure it will be amazing if you're a good one. But then if you're answering a wrong question, then what's the value of what you've done? Because it could be valuable only for people who look at the code. But if it's not valuable for the business or for the research question, it's often could be used for research. So I would stress on this part. Honestly, during my master's, I've been working on a project where from the evaluation part, we've realized that we are answering the wrong question. And we had to go back 4 months of work and really re-ask and identify what was the right one.
I think that's not only an AI project, it's in any software development. Is this actually the correct problem that we're solving? Yeah. That it might lead us to a totally different project. In one of your slides where you printed out all the different steps that need to be undertaken, there's also the part about ethics. Someone is asking on your slide, it was and one of the last steps, but do you think it's only something that needs to be looked at the end, or is it something we need to look at from the beginning already?
Oh, definitely in the beginning. Definitely in the beginning, ethics. There is this conversation and this paradox when we're talking about ethics and AI. So should we set the ethics constraints in the beginning, or should we talk about a framework in the beginning and then develop AI? Is this a stopper for AI, Or should we do first the AI and then we'll be talking about the consequences from ethical perspective? And this could go back and forth. In my opinion, those two, like ethics, should be everywhere along the AI path. It should be considered within every step that we're undertaking. I placed it in the end because this is the moment when we usually think about it. This is the moment when we think, okay, what I've built will have this impact. I've answered my question. Now let's see, is it ethical? So I have, for example, I have my model of predicting customer behavior. I can predict everything about them, but is it ethical to use it? Is it ethical to use their customer data into like, this is the oldest example ever of the supermarket and the pregnant woman that the supermarket knew before her family, but this is a very good example of this.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much. What I noticed in your keynote, that you were asking us a lot of questions, right? Let's say someone who has no AI skills at all and has that question like, what is AI? Where do they start learning these things?
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. The person should ask himself or herself, what do they want to achieve? Like, why are they looking into AI? And when you answer the question, why am I looking into AI, then they'll be able to identify those skills. This is why I talk that AI is about thinking. AI is about understanding this. For example, I started with data science. I started with machine learning. For me, it was extremely interesting of combining business and programming together. And I found that the most value I could bring is out of the data and out of building models. Then at some point, I realized that data, actually, if you go back to this data component, this gives you so much, like the different ways you can gather this data. And here you're going to cognitive services, for example, gathering data through cameras, analyzing this image recognition, computer vision, like this is extremely interesting. Like right now, transcribing what I'm saying, my emotions, your emotions, being able to have this analysis right now of what's happening. And this is about thinking of the data sources, and this is post factum. So I was talking about the data science model, the data sources, and then getting into the AI aspect of this one. For me, a person, and I only got certified after a few years of AI when I was exploring all the different areas. And for me, a person should really start with understanding what is it, like what is AI? What is valuable for himself or herself? What do they want to do in the future? What do they want to build? And then based on that, do a little map of their own. Just think of like, these are the areas I want to cover, and this is how I want to develop within those areas. Because at the end of the day, again, artificial intelligence is our intelligence and our actions and our endeavors. Technology is out there. Technology will keep evolving, right? Well, like you can see Microsoft is exploding when it comes to AI, and it will be there to help. And we can learn about technology. We can read about technology. It's extremely interesting. It's amazing. And it's out there to help us. But to help us do what?
And would you also advise developers that want to start in the world of AI to focus on mathematics?
I think that mathematics gives you, first of all, for when you're talking about machine learning, and machine learning, it's in the core. It's in the core of computer vision, of image processing, everything. But when you're thinking about it, this is statistics. And if you're not a pro in statistics, then you should be able to understand what's the logic, understand what are the calculations. My opinion is that analytical thinking and mathematics in general, the way mathematics learn you to think, is a very helpful skill for AI.
Okay. Now we had one other question. It's more about, let's say we start in AI. What is your preferred programming language? Ekaterina, what should they start learning?
Mine is R.
Okay.
I know, because I'm only so it's Python or R the biggest question, but Python is for programmers. R is for people who have more of mathematical knowledge, or who are more who have the analytical part but don't have the programming part yet that developed. I was a programmer. I was studying for a programmer, but yet for me, R was the preferred language, as I was feeling more comfortable with it, and it's very easy to understand. And even for people who are new to this, who are new to the technology and for the technical world, it's probably more understandable to go through that part.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ekaterina, for your thoughts, your keynote, and your ideas about AI. We'll see you back in an hour and a half during the panel discussion. But for now, we're going away for a couple of seconds, and we'll be back with another keynote speaker.